I'm really excited to be sharing about induced after-death communication, IADC. It is a radical new therapy that was developed at the Chicago Veterans Administration Hospital by doctors there. They discovered partly through trial and error that it was possible to help their combat veterans that they were treating for post-traumatic stress disorder to work through the trauma of war and loss and survivor guilt through a kind of technique that allowed apparent contact with people who'd crossed over. And what was incredible about this was they discovered that not only could this be induced intentionally in the combat veteran population in over 90% of people that attempted it, but they could train other therapists to do it. And so by increments, this work has spread around the world. It's popular in the United States. It's wildly popular in Germany, where they're cranking out IADC therapists by the hundreds. And it's been featured on George Newry's Coast to Coast radio program. And it's featured in Dr. Alan Botkin's book, Induced After-Death Communication. My experience has been incredible with it. As soon as I heard about it, I insisted upon being trained by Alan. And I was actually the 15th person in the world to be certified in induced after-death communication. My experience has been transformative both for me and for my clients. It's been exciting to see people who've been absolutely grief-stricken and overwhelmed by loss and usually tortured by some kind of guilt. Maybe you felt this yourself. If only I'd been at the hospital the day that grandmother died. If only I had driven home another route, we would have been in that car accident. Those kinds of thoughts often persist and they don't go away easily. And this kind of therapy seems to speed or truncate the amount of grief and the amount of loss that people experience. I was working with a woman who lost her husband due to cancer, and she wasn't there the day her husband died. And after working through a lot of the grief and the sadness over about an hour-long period in the therapy session, then at the tail end of the session, her husband came and made contact. And she said, "But I feel so bad I wasn't there for you the last day, the day that you died." And he said, "What makes you so sure I wanted you to be there? Do you think I would want to leave you with those kinds of images? I waited until you left, and then I crossed over." And when you think about it, people say, well, death is natural. Well, yeah, but so is going to the bathroom, but I don't know if I want an audience for it. It's painful and it's hard, that moment of crossing over. And this gentleman said that he didn't want to leave his wife with memories of his crossing, the agony of his crossing, or her to bear witness to that. And so, according to him, he specifically chose a day where she wouldn't be there. And that allowed her to forgive herself and go on with her life.